Hi guys, still here with a new video, and this video will be a solo shuffle match video, but also a discussion video, more likely a discussion video, but with some solo shuffle on the background, playing BM Hunter. As you can see on my screen, this is the build I play, and I sometimes change my PvP talents depending on who I'm facing, and you should always do that, I think. But the goal of this video is more likely to talk about the overall state of PvP and just what actually changed with the patch. And you all saw probably the shenanigans with Fire Mage versus pet classes. Now I think it's a normal behavior because of all those like flaring up on multiple targets, and it can basically like destroy Demonology Warlock or BM Hunter. I don't know if they're going to fix that or not. More likely they're going to nerf the talent for that, but whatever. I think the damage is alright. I tested a bit of Fire Mage. I think the damage is alright of Living Bomb, but like single target is not like, it's worth the press, I guess, but it's not like wow damage. It's like, okay, over a course of a spell, which is a 30-second CD spell, is going to do around like 120k, 140k if it crits, for example. So it's all right. DHs, I've seen a few DHs still, and I can say that nothing really changed. Yes, I do see the damage a bit lower on the throw glaives and the soul rend, but overall the squishiness of the class really depends on who he's facing. I think it's not a squishy class, and some people say like, why would you nerf the CC or why would you nerf the survivability? I'm not asking them to be like Frosty Case or like Feral Druids. I'm asking them to be more of a DH. So it means that leather class, which should be really easy to kill if he is not popping a CD. And if he is popping a CD, it's not going to make them invulnerable like, let's say, other classes. If you want them to have blur work the same as evasion, put blur on the same CD as an evasion, for example. But that's my take, of course. I think the damage is still very high. I think they still need some kind of tuning. I think overall, I am not okay with how like DH is doing right now. And you see, like, again with my BM Hunter, we do some good damage at the end of every single round. I think I was like top damage, except like one round where it was basically like over in a second because of a CC. But I think just in general, DH does like 2 easy access damage. Like it's like BM, but I would say that BM, the overall AoE damage is way lower than, let's say, a DH, where you can easily do like a lot of deep damage spread out on multiple targets. I would say that it is affliction warlock levels of damage, but without the counter like negatives from a affliction warlock, and that itself is scary. But that's, again, I think it needs a rework for PvP. I think it's too strong. I think that some people can say that why would you nerf it to Oblivion? I don't want them to be D tier. I don't even want them to be B tier. Make them A tier, which means that they have clear weaknesses. They're good, but they have clear weaknesses. I think that the weakness of you die in stuns is a bit weak when every single class dies in a stun, or like very easily dies in a stun. I think that Enhancement Shaman, being a male class, dying in stuns is something that always happens because you cannot press any defensives like a DH, but they don't get the survivability from a DH though. So you see that there is like, either you make everything as tanky as a DH, or you bring DH down to the levels of a Arms Warrior, to the levels of a Fury Warrior, to the levels of an Enhancement Shaman. I don't know. You decide. Personally, I think it's better to nerf it so we can actually like progress instead of like buffing everyone, which is not going to happen, and we will still have like 3 or 4 classes being like the scapegoats of defensives. I think overall, I think it's still mind-boggling that they didn't change anything about DK. I think it's also mind-boggling that the only change for Enhancement Shaman is literally a healing buff, but then Retribution Paladin just gets nothing. So they are with intent of buffing healing from Enhancement Shaman, but then forgets about the other hybrids that does need the same thing. And Enhancement Shaman has not the same tools as a Retribution Paladin, so it's still a status quo where Enhancement Shaman is still not really good, and Retribution Paladin is still a good class, a good spec, um, but it lacks the flavor of being a Retribution Paladin. I think if you're playing Cataclysm, or if you're playing Wrath of the Lich King, or even Mist of Pandaria, or even Walls of Draenor, I think the R feels that you could provide on those expansions were very satisfying, and I would not say that it was busted. I think it was like with intent of, look, you're a hybrid, so you have clear weaknesses, but you also have some clear utility that basically always was there to begin with. Um, yeah, and mages, frost mages, they got a buff, and it was like it seems good. I think they are better, but again, improving something where it was not very high, for example, flurry being 25% more, will not be like very noticeable. It will be noticeable at the end with the meters, but it will not be noticeable to. Well, you're not going to eliminate someone with flurry, right? But again, I think overall the state of the game, gameplay wise, I think Dragonflight is not bad. I think you have outliers where you clearly want them to nerf, and again, I have specs that I also like to play, but I also ask nerfs. For example, Destruction Warlock I think kind of deserves a nerf, but don't touch Affliction Warlock with it. For example, all the nerfs that they get, like Destruction Warlock, is like dribbled down towards Affliction Warlocks, which do need those abilities. So if they can actually separate those things, or like maybe change the damage patterns from Destruction Warlock to be a bit less accessible, or a bit less like unfair. For example, I think the rifts are an unfair ability in my opinion, because you can triple rift and then you cannot run away from it. You'll just get damaged. I think shifting that damage towards your kit would be more fun. First and foremost, your damage will not really change, but you will have to do things to do a lot of damage. Right now it feels like, again, Destruction Warlock very strong, and it still stays like this, but whenever they nerf Destruction Warlock, it's Affliction Warlock that suffers the most. What else? I think healing wise, Resto Druid is still king. I mean, who would have thought? Nothing changed. I think Holy Paladin, although they got like a buff, it doesn't seem like it actually matters. I think the whole problem with the gameplay is that it is okay, but if you have system problems, which is MMR or soul shuffle queues, which again depends on your range of your MMR, like if you're lower rated or if you're like mid rated or high rated, the queue times can vary. But I think having no communication behind it and like feel like they're okay with the state of what it is right now, I feel like it's a bit dumb. But again, I'm not asking that everyone should get like duelist, or everyone should get a rival, or everyone should be able to get elite or glad or legend or whatever you want to achieve. I think that's not possible. On League of Legends, I would also like to be challenger, but it's not possible, right? Not everyone can be challenger, because then challenger doesn't mean anything. But I think if they actually reward players for what they are, so if you're rival, you get rewarded because of being rival. If you're like competent or challenger or whatever like rank you are on World of Warcraft, if you actually were rewarded correctly, you would not feel that bad. But it feels like it's either you are top of the league, or you are like bottom and you got nothing, right? Or you're like, it's either top or nothing, and that's something that they should like step away from it. I think you can reward the best players, that's all right. I think it's all right to have that, but I think you should also reward all kinds of players. Not really participation really, but just like, look, if you're that rank you get like something special. If you get like that rank, you get something special. No, like again, it could be like a skin, like a transmog recolor or anything. They could do so much more. that it feels like right now it's a bit like empty, but that's my take. I want to close the video with, of course, saying that we do love World of Warcraft. I love World of Warcraft. I love World of Warcraft PvP. I may make a lot of negative videos, but I think in general, um, I've tested a lot of MMOs these days. I tried to make content on it, although I didn't post it, but it didn't click with me. It feels like I'm making a video and then it feels like I'm having fun, but it's not going to keep me on. So I'm going to make a video and it's a one shot, and I don't want to make just one video of a game and then like be satisfied of the game, but not returning to the game, right? And there is only like one other MMO that I do play, like on a basic, like like World of Warcraft and like League of Legends. It would be Return of Reckoning, which is a Warhammer Online private server, which is also very fun. But again, the population is so low, and I have like no reach for that, that it feels like a bit silly to make content on it. Now, again, I think World of Warcraft Blizzard could do way better and could actually show you the ways of how to make it better. But it really depends on their like philosophy and if they really want to put effort into PvP. Like for example, solo queue RPG. I'm really sorry, but they should really talk about it, and they are not doing that. So, I mean, at the end, it's effort and it's like output, and you do not get output without input. And if they're not doing the input, they cannot really expect the output. The same for population, the same for everything around PvP. If they are deciding to drop the ball, well, then the ball is dropped, and you cannot expect that to bounce back without like a push. So again, it's only physics, it's only like logic. If you want a different result, you have to do other stuff to make it better, and not like leave it like this and be like inanimated. And yeah, I mean, whatever. Anyways, hopefully we get better days. I think this patch is like our right patch note, I would say, but it's not enough to change up. I think Aldoro got like hit way more. I think Wotlk got hit way more than DH, which is my opinion, of course. But it does feel like that. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Be sure to stay safe. We will catch you probably very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.